Good morning, everybody. We're going to start what I think is going to be a really exciting session now. It is the Manchester City region doing what the Manchester City region does best, which is talking about the Manchester City region. We've got three speakers today. I'm going to introduce in just a minute. Just a reminder, a lot of us will know this. We're talking about a city region of 2.9 million people. We're talking about an economy that's bigger than Wales. And when we talk about devolution and the powers that come to Greater Manchester, let's think about it in that context. We've still got a way to go. If we've got slightly less people than Wales, but a bigger economy, we ought to have the same powers of Wales as well, and we'll continue pursuing devolution until we get to that point. We are the inventor of the combined authority. It was designed in Greater Manchester for Greater Manchester, although clearly a lot of other people have developed that. And we are at the forefront of devolution in England. And I've said it already this week, but when Sadiq Khan was elected Mayor of London, his first task of government was to have the same powers that Greater Manchester has got. We are the heart of the Northern Powers. The Northern Powers only works by all of the northern cities and towns coming together to create that virtual city of 10 million people within a region of 16 million people. But it is Manchester that is the principal crossroads for all of those cities coming together. And it's where, if we're going to build the transport infrastructure that we need, it is where that major node that will bring people together will happen. We know that there are a small number of things that drive a modern economy. One of them is innovation, ideas. Second is transport infrastructure. But the third is knowledge and skills. And that's partly what we're going to be talking about today. So I say three speakers. Pam Smith, the Chief Executive of Stockport Council. Jim Taylor, the Chief Executive of Salford Council. And Sean Anstey, who's the leader of Trafford Council. And we're going to start off with Pam.
Thank you, Richard. Today we're going to be talking about the industrial strategy. As you'll know, the UK government has published its industrial strategy, and that sets out plans to boost the productivity and the earning power of people across the UK. That industrial strategy is based on 5 themes, 5 foundations. One of them is around places, people, ideas, infrastructure and business environment. And the government said if we work on those, we're going to increase our productivity. What it's also set out is some of the big challenges. They've called them grand challenges that we face. And those are around data, artificial intelligence. They're also around the growing economy and making sure that it's green and making sure that it's clean. There's also issues around the ageing population and how, as a society, we are going to make sure that we deliver on an ageing society. And the future of mobility. And you've heard this conference talk about lots of things around how we're going to get around our cities and how effective that's going to be. We are one of the trailblazers to take that national strategy and make it a local strategy. And we are really keen to make sure that we have a compelling plan that sets us up for success around our inclusive growth. And that's really important to us. This isn't just a local industrial strategy that's going to mirror the national strategy. It's about how is it going to work for Greater Manchester and how is it linked into our strategy. What we're going to do is build on our Greater Manchester strategy, which is about inclusive growth. It's about improved outcomes. And the way we're going to do that is to actually build consensus and collaboration, not only with our communities, but with central government, so that we can actually deliver the outcomes for both Greater Manchester and central government. We want to be in Manchester, as you would expect, one of the best places to be, but one of the best places to grow up, to get things done and grow older. Not grow old, because we're all going to grow up, but grow older. And we want to make sure that all parts of our communities are involved in this industrial strategy. And we're going to build on themes. So we're going to help government look at those grand challenges and make sure that our priorities and our assets are aligned with those themes and ensure that we can contribute and pilot some of the initiatives that are going to address some of these grand strategies. We want to make sure that our local industrial strategy truly reflects our Greater Manchester strategy, and we're going to use the industrial strategy to build on that and make sure that the themes of growth and reform are interconnected, and make sure that we use all the assets that we have to put people at the heart of this strategy. I think one of the other things that we need to make sure is that we focus on ensuring that we have the capability in our infrastructure to move forward and make sure that we use the assets that we've got, but also develop increased infrastructure assets so that we're supporting all of our people in Greater Manchester and we're setting them all up for success. And it's the use of those assets which Jim is now going to talk about. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Pam. So as Pam said, I'm just going to talk through some of those key assets that are in Greater Manchester, and that forms the basis of our local industrial strategy. It actually recognises that Greater Manchester has amazing research excellence. It also has a key role to play in driving our city region's economic growth. We've done an in-depth analysis of the research landscape, and what that's identified is a number of key sectors that we're majoring on, as have been mentioned throughout some of the presentations this week: health innovation, advanced materials, digital, energy, industrial biotechnology, as well as individual areas of strength for Greater Manchester. But those as individual sectors, the key is actually converging those sectors, and that is the strength which can add value, we feel, to our industrial strategy. And one example of that is the triplet of advanced materials, digital, health innovation, which you can see on the screen. And in Greater Manchester, we can actually bring these fields of research together, and we can realise the value of those synergies when they are together. For example, the proposed Pankhurst Centre, that brings together clinical research on health directly with materials science, engineering, data informatics, and computer science to address major health problems. Another example is the National Grid Power Systems Research Centre at the University of Manchester, which blends energy, materials, and digital. And it's that blend that makes that so powerful. Corridor Manchester, we've heard a lot about that this week. It's the city's innovation district. It has a workforce of 60,000. It's home to 72,000 students, 2 world-class universities, and it's Europe's largest clinical campus. Corridor, as we know, is home to City Labs, and Thomas explained all about that earlier in the week, and it offers state-of-the-art workspace for health, medical technology businesses, and the development we know is currently being extended with City Labs 2 and 3, and that's going to provide almost 100,000 square feet of additional laboratory space. The corridor will actually see £2.8 billion worth of investment to 2025, absolutely significant. And the growth in the knowledge economy is driving the economic fortunes of the city centre and indeed, as Richard mentioned, the whole of the north, including the Northern Powerhouse. £61 million National Graphene Institute. We know it's the national centre for graphene research in the UK. It's drawing in specialists from across the globe. It houses state-of-the-art clean rooms, laser, optical, chemical labs and equipment. And it's actually, as I'm informed, the ideal environment for world-class graphene research. And this year, the £60 million Graphene Engineering Innovation Centre, an international research and technology facility. It's going to offer the UK a unique opportunity to establish a leading role in disruptive technology, which spans a number of industrial sectors, not one or two, but many, and will focus on pilot production and characterisation. These assets, combined with the Henry Royce Institute, will provide world-class research facilities for material sciences. We know manufacturing has been the driving force of economic growth in Greater Manchester. Advanced manufacturing will drive growth and opportunities in the future. The Northern Gateway will provide almost 1.4 square million feet of employment space, and that's in advanced manufacturing, distribution and logistics. Trafford Park, Seems a long time ago now, but it was the first purpose-built industrial park in the world with over 9 million square metres of business space, and it actually remains one of the largest and most successful business parks in Europe. We know that works recently started to expand the tram network to Trafford Park, and that will further improve local connectivity. Manchester City Centre, Greater Manchester Central Business District, home to a variety of creative and digital companies, home to the Northern Quarter, vibrant, eclectic mix of over 150 digital and creative companies have established themselves there. And slightly further out from the city centre, the Sharp project, over 60 digital entrepreneurs specialising in digital content, digital media, and TV and film production. Again, staying with the media, Media City UK has been developed on a 38-acre site on the historic Salford Quays complex. It's Europe's first purpose-built business hub for the creative media and tech industries. It comprises 700,000 square feet of office space, 250,000 square feet of studio space, and has extensive retail and leisure facilities along with residential accommodation. By 2030, Media City is set to double in size with a £1 billion expansion already underway, and will cement GM's leading position in this sector with an emerging focus on artificial intelligence and virtual reality. Vital to the growth in the digital and advanced manufacturing sectors is international connectivity, particularly post-Brexit. Port Salford is key to this. It's a multimodal facility that offers excellent connectivity by road, rail and water. It is linked to the strategic rail network. There are 10 motorways within 10 miles, and this site is adjacent to the Manchester Ship Canal, and it connects directly with the Port of Liverpool and with Manchester. And the investment at Port Salford is absolutely critical in helping to open up the potential for exporting to all world markets, really, via the Ship Canal and the Port of Liverpool. Construction of Phase 1 is underway, and the future Phase 2 comprises a total site area of 250 acres, has a potential floor space of 320,000 square metres, and will create at least 4,000 jobs. So Port Salford and the wider Western Gateway is an opportunity to develop industrial clusters in logistics and manufacturing, as well as emerging growth sectors such as low carbon and modular construction. We can also see this at Airport City. It's the UK's first airport-centric enterprise zone. Again, we heard about this earlier in the week. Provides nearly 500,000 square feet of logistics, offices, advanced manufacturing, hotel accommodation. Huge investment there, and also in the airport with additional routes worldwide. So actually, the assets I've outlined are not about the shiny buildings. It's about the research, it's about the technology. But as Pam indicated, a successful industrial strategy isn't just about research sectors and sites. It's also about our key assets, our people, and the skills needed to drive our industrial strategy. And Sean's going to outline some of that to you now.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure over the last 4 years to lead work in Greater Manchester on employment and skills, to really show that when we talk about people being our key asset, that we mean it, that we can reform the system, especially in a post-Brexit world, as we need to make sure the pressing need to upskill our population is even greater than it has been previously, and to make sure that we see our population progress into good jobs with good wages, and to really feel the benefit of what we're doing in Greater Manchester. So the skills and employment landscape across the city region has grown from strength to strength over the years to make sure that it's responding to the needs of a changing economy and labour market. And we've seen a considerable growth in the number of our residents qualified to level 4 and above. I think there's more than 600,000 residents with a degree level qualification or higher, home to over 100,000 students. That is fantastic for the Greater Manchester economy, and it's great for people to come and do business with us at the same time. But what we do need to do is make sure that we connect those residents who are outside of the labour market into jobs, so that we're less reliant on benefits, and that many of our working residents, as they enter into employment, they're living wage jobs for us with good career progression opportunities. And the provision of skills plays a unique enabling role in being able to drive productivity and tackle some of our economic and social challenges across the city region. So we want to make sure that people who are in our education system are effectively and successfully passing through it, and then are able to access high quality support throughout. And one of the hallmarks of the devolution agreements that we've had with government over a number of years is to try and see progress on greater ability to influence the skills system in the city region. We want an integrated and adaptable education and skills system because we know it's vital to enabling residents to make the most of our economic opportunities and the growth and reform that will bring. And making sure that our businesses have the talent, skills and labour that they require to start up, grow and develop in Greater Manchester is a key part of our industrial strategy. So a step change, though, is needed to be able to deliver our vision for a transformational education and skills and employment system that drives economic growth within Greater Manchester to the benefit of all. And we have more than £200 million that's been invested into our skills system in order to be able to make that happen. So as you connect people up to better employment opportunities, you then need to make sure that they can get there. So transport is a key part, and Jim's referred to the Metrolink expansion through to Trafford Park. That's part of a wider transport investment that will be a key enabler of linking people to the opportunities that we create. The £350 million Metrolink expansion programme will support regeneration and economic growth by boosting public transport connections to our residents to over 1,400 businesses in Trafford Park. New approaches to bus travel through reforms to the bus market, making travelling by bus across Greater Manchester easier and more affordable is vital to ensuring that, again, Greater Manchester plays more of a role in connecting our residents to the right education and job opportunities across the region. But if we're going to sort of deliver on our ambitions that we've set ourselves in the Greater Manchester strategy, we need to continue to create jobs and strengthen skills and employability in all parts of our economy, and especially in our key sectors. So there's major investments that Jim's referred to as those at Airport City, creating new jobs, maximising opportunities arising from infrastructure investments such as HS2, and continuing new employment opportunities to inform the provision of our skills and education system. So it's a real team effort across Greater Manchester to make sure that we can do that. I hope what you've heard from us today has been a really useful introduction to some of the opportunities that are available in Greater Manchester. Really time for us to play our part and continue to be one of the best leading global city regions across the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. I think that's probably about the fullest 15 minutes we've ever had here. The content was absolutely phenomenal. So can we give a really big thank you to Pam, to Jim and to Sean for their presentation this morning.